Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Let's talk about what makes Diana Ankudinova's performance of Snowstorm so awesome.
Где-то там, за окном, ходит зима. Сеет снег, белый снег, ночью и днем. И меня тишиной сводит с ума.
Why would he push the button so early? I'll tell you why. Because the intensity right from the get-go. I mean, yeah. You look at the snow and the mood that's being set by lights and everything else, that's great. That's no reason to push a button yet because that's nothing that she's doing, right? That's the designers and whoever else is creating that. But before those lights come up, she's already so intense. Just in those first few measures there, we get so much contrast, both in the sound that she's making and how she's using her voice and the words. And it's just, she's got it. You hear that much and you see that kind of engagement and commitment with that consistency of sound, but still being so expressive. That's what you need to hear. We saw what we needed to see to think, okay, there's someone who can really move and entertain an audience and look and sound like a pro. Done. Green.
И опять не уснуть в доме пустом. Саваном белым вьюга, дом мой укрой. Где-то ты засыпаешь, где-то, но не со мной.
Yeah. You see with what that judge is doing there, like, what's going on here? What is this amazing sound that we're hearing? It is just such a glorious, rich, full, overwhelming sound. It is just glorious. Not just that, her body shows so much poise. Now, what can you do to kind of capture that same kind of poise? Keep that rib cage open. When you were singing, don't let it collapse down. She's keeping that rib cage open, and that keeps this openness, this fullness, this kind of sense of command that she has. Number two thing that gives that sense of confidence command is that her neck and shoulders are released. There is not tension there. She's moving, she's keeping those gestures fluid, and she's using more stylized gestures in this moment of hands coming up and expressing. That matches to me the song in this moment. It's kind of a surreal moment, and so stylized movement seems to be very appropriate, but it's not rigid, it's not tight, it's not tense. That sense of calm command is so intoxicating for an audience to see. It's amazing that a young person at this age can be in that much command on stage of herself, of her singing, of being expressive, of energy and intensity. Is just thrilling to see.
Где-то там в тишине ходит февраль. Ему, как и мне, сон не найти. Где-то там вдалеке.
Ooh, look at that line right there. See how her body has this energy here? This is an idea that I picked up from a fight instructor that we had come in. He said it this way. He said, we feel emotions in our knees. I was like, wait, what? But as he explained it, it's like, oh, yeah. I said it in a different way, but I thought it was such a great way to say it. And if you'll notice here, when we feel emotions, our knees bend. We get that energy in our legs, right? We really see that happen. And so you'll notice because of her foot position being really balanced and not straight on with her feet equally weighted, that she has this line to her body. There's an intensity to it because it's not just straight up and down. She's leaning forward. She's able to lean forward, and then she's able to move to the beat of that music, which is just thrilling to see this level of engagement, not just from what we're hearing and not just because it's cool and unique, but because visually, aesthetically, that diagonal line suggests action, movement, and we respond to it on a subconscious level. So that's really, really exciting to see there.
Никогда ты не поймешь, где-то там не со мной, так и не узнаешь ты. Саваном белым, вьюга тонкую, где-то ты засыпаешь, где-то, но не со мной.
Again, in such a short time, she's giving us so many different vocal colors. It's so expressive. Now, the challenge is this. If we give a lot of vocal colors and change things up all the time, it can sound like a mistake. It can sound like we just don't have good technique. That's not the case here. We know it's not the case, and as the audience, we sense it because A, there is a consistency to her technique. The consistency of airflow and how she's using it is consistent. The placement is relatively consistent. What's changing is how she's shaping it, and she's also changing it here because it's a little more aspirate. She's going back and forth between it being a clearer sound, even at times slightly on the glottal side. In this moment, it's more aspirate because she's about to go into this more intense moment where it is either on the more balanced or more glottal side of vocal production. That softer, kind of breathier sound softens it up for a moment. It gives us some contrast. She's got a mic there, so she doesn't have to sing loud with that aspirate sound. And so it's not necessarily we're worried that there's going to be some kind of health problem there. There's no concern there. It sounds easy. It still sounds consistent. It's open, it's released, and it's expressive. So really, really exciting to see here. Look at that stance. Yeah.
Ходит зима, слышишь, как замерзаю снова я без тебя.
Okay, you watch those judges, and the two that we're seeing there, they were on the edge of their seat leaning forward. That's a good sign, right? If our audience is really engaged with what we're doing, leaning forward, or even sometimes leaning back if we want them to be contemplative, that's really exciting. And that's a great sign that she's engaging our audience. My question to you would be the same. Are you engaged? To me, I am. I'm engaged because there's so much contrast in what I'm hearing, and it's so expressive, meaning that the contrast and different colors she's giving in the voice matches the words and is a natural phrase shape and is so unique to each phrase. We're not hearing the same sounds over and over again. That she's really letting the character, the words, and the music color everything she's doing vocally and also physically. The other thing to learn here is the amount of intensity that she brings. We see the intensity in her eyes, we see it in the energy of her body, and in her ability to let her body follow an impulse, to throw an arm out, to move to certain beats, and let her face respond to it as well. What can you do today to let yourself to do that? Give yourself permission to do something big, to do something that seems like too much, that seems like you're wearing your heart on your sleeve a little too much. Go there, see what it does, record it, have other people watch it, and compare when you do that versus when you don't. And I think you're gonna find that the audiences eat it up when you do give them more. Again, our goal here is to be true to the character. We don't want to have it be so much that feels false and contrived. I don't get that sense here. It feels so authentic. It feels so genuine, even though that its energy is so high. It is such high drama here. And part of the reason that that's doable and that it's believable is because the music calls for it and because she pulls it off. She is so committed to it. As always, love what I see when I watch Diana Ankudinova. I think there's so much to be learned and gained from watching what she brings to each performance. final thing to learn is do what it takes to have a lot of energy before you get on that stage. Because even if it's calm, you want this just vibrancy, this full of life kind of energy when you walk on stage, because it's contagious and the audience will eat it up, will absorb it, and then they'll give it right back to you with 100 times amplification. If you want a voice lesson or performance coaching or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier, perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartstudio.com. I look forward to working with you online.